Hey everyone, it's Nate with Metrics, here with the next project on the lift. We got a 2006 R6 that we're doing a frame swap on. So basically got to disassemble the entire thing and put it back together with a different frame. And let's get started. So here's the bike, a lot of customization, a lot of extra parts, a lot of shiny things. Makes me nervous, but not too bad. We'll get started tearing this down, and we got a new frame there, a replacement frame. So basically got to touch every nut and bolt on this thing. Let's get going. So I got the rear tail off, got all the wiring undone for that, got that taken out. The air box is essentially out, not out enough so it'll fit through the frame as we lower the motor. Going after these crash bars or cage, and then taking the fairings off and get started on some of the front end stuff. So still got plenty to do, but making progress. Making some good progress. Got all the fairings off, got the cage off. Got most of the wiring undone. Getting ready to start on the rear suspension, swing arm. Gonna drain the coolant. Making some good progress here. Thinking the next step is we're gonna drain the coolant because we have to disconnect this upper radiator hose anyways to get through the frame. So I'm going to drain the coolant, take the radiator off, and then probably move on to the front end. Alright, so got the nose off, got the front suspension disconnected and ready to come apart, ready to take the frame off of there. Just working on how I'm going to support the motor and stuff while I'm doing the rest of the work. Got the swing arm pivot loose and ready to basically take that apart here pretty soon. Just a matter of shoring everything up and getting it apart. Alright, here's what used to be an R6. Got the swing arm off, got the frame off of the motor, and now I just need to do some swapping of parts onto the new frame and just reverse assembly. Alright, so here's the latest update. The replacement frame is attached to the motor. Gonna keep working on that for a bit, and then next thing is to reconnect the swing arm and get that mess put back together. Going pretty good, no real troubles. One thing, I did have to order new stem bearings. For some reason someone had replaced the upper ones but not the lowers, and the customer had mentioned they thought there was a problem there, so new ones are on the way. Probably going to take a couple days to get here, but once those are in, we should be able to wrap this thing up. Getting ready to pack it in for tonight, but good progress today. Frames attached, swing arms attached. I got the old bearing races out of the steering stem, and I'm waiting to take the actual forks apart till the new bangs show up. But tomorrow we'll keep going on this, basically reassemble everything we can aside from the front end, and hopefully wrap this thing up pretty soon. So replacing the stem bearings on this R6, I just wanted to give you guys a view of what that actually takes. I got the lower triple off the bike, and I've got it set up in the press here. I have warmed the lower triple with the propane torch just to let it come off easier, and you got to kind of give this some gumph on the press, but it'll actually, you press the stem out of the lower triple and you can see it's going, well, maybe you can see it's going through the bearing race also. And so we'll basically do the reverse of this to put the new one on. I'll show you that as well. But just wanted to kind of show you how you get these off the correct way. Some people will cut this with a Dremel and try to get it off, usually end up destroying that seal. So this way you can reuse the seal without damaging anything. Alright, so latest update, airbox is back in, everything's hooked up there. Got most of the wiring back in place in the tail. I haven't hooked the battery up yet. Got to do a little bit of fixing here, hopefully on the tail light. There's a broken wire and it's a little frayed down here, so I'm going to try to see what I can do with that. But the tail's back on, brakes are hooked up. I'm about to do the kickstand on the other side, but things are going good. Just waiting on the stem bearings. Those should be here any time today, so once those are here, I should be able to button this thing up. Wanted to show one thing here. I have the kickstand off, and as you can see, maybe red Loctite. So when you go to take stuff like that off that you know has red Loctite or you suspect has red Loctite, just warm it up with the torch, and then it'll come apart way easier. But I am going to put some more back on when I put it together, so getting ready to do that now. One other note about thread locker. Blue thread locker is for stuff you want to be able to take apart again, or smaller fasteners. Red is for stuff that you don't anticipate having to take back apart, or larger fasteners. So I'm putting the rear sets back on using blue. The kickstand went on with red. So she's finally all back together. Tank is back on. I had to fix some wiring for the fuel pump and the sending unit. Everything else is back together, and she has an oil change and filter, so ready to roll.